What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today I'm finally back reacting to the Chicago Bears season 2024-25 season and the big victory at Lambeau Field with a 24-22 upset against the Green Bay Packers. So with that being said, today's going to be more of a podcast stylish episode, not too much film that we're going to break down. It's just going to be my immediate thoughts that I have for the Chicago Bears season, this past season, what happened, because I did not have the time to honestly make videos, guys, and that's something I want to get off my chest right away. I'm sorry. I really am also sorry for myself because I really wanted to make videos this year, especially with Caleb's rookie season. There was so much great things that I could have analyzed and broken down on game tape, but I just couldn't find the time. Right, I have a lot on my plate right now with my studies being in my final semester, so that has to be a priority right now. So YouTube had to take a step back for me, so that's why there weren't any videos yet, and that's still why there's going to be a drought until March. I got the time right now to freestyle a little bit here and make a video, but there's not going to be a lot during that time. So just as a little explanation why there wasn't any videos, that's why, just couldn't find the time. It's not great, but it is what it is. Got to live through that, and I'm going to continue with the channel. So don't worry about that. There's still going to be a lot of great film breakdowns coming, especially after March. The content is going to pick up rapidly again. A lot of draft content, just like last year, because then I had the time. A lot of draft content, more in-depth analysis on the entire draft class and the Chicago Bears offseason moves. And then also for next season, I should have a lot more time as it stands right now. So there's going to be new, better film reviews of Caleb Williams in 2025-26. So stay excited for that. It's just a little bit more of a drought on the channel until March as of right now. But one video that you can expect to drop before March or slightly at the beginning to mid-March is going to be a huge season breakdown of Caleb Williams' rookie season. So we're going to look at a big portion of Caleb's rookie year, what he did well, what he did not so well, areas where he needs to improve in year two, and take also a look at the reasons for that season and how it happened. But to tell you one thing right away, I think Caleb Williams had a really good rookie season, especially for Chicago Bears standards and for the circumstances he was put in. He played phenomenal. Did he make mistakes? Yes, he did. And is the narrative that he held on to the ball too long at times correct? Yes, it is as well, but not every single time. So for that case, I want to dive deep into Caleb Williams' tape. I'm already working on that episode, and it's going to drop in the next 1 to 2 to 3 months. I don't know when I'm going to finish it, but it's going to be a big deep dive. That's going to be my next video coming up. So that's going to be probably the best video I've ever done. I hope so. It turns out like this, but I have big plans for that video, so stay excited for that. And then, as I said, content will pick up again by the end of March to start of April. But with that being said, let's actually get into it. The Chicago Bears did it. Caleb Williams did it. We snapped the 11-game losing streak against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. Now, did Jordan Love play during the second half? No. Did Josh Jacobs play during the second half? No. But that doesn't matter. It's just there to finally break that curse. Because during that game, again, there were a couple of moments where it was just the Bears against Packers curse all over again. Speaking about the long completion over Tyreek Stevenson's head to whatever receiver that was. However that play turned out that way, it had to happen because it's Bears-Packers, and basically everything is going in towards the Packers' way. Same with the DJ Moore fumble all of a sudden during 2 minutes, where we almost had the game sealed, and the Bears almost fumbled that game, conceding a field goal. To the tons of penalties and bad play decisions in that final drive. With all that being considered, Caleb Williams and the Bears offense still got it done to get into field goal range with about 3 to 4 seconds left, and Cairo Santos this time nailed that field goal. Thank God that happened. Puts Caleb Williams in a 1-1 spot against the Green Bay Packers so far in his career. Obviously, first game we should have won as well. Just missed a field goal there once again. So that was unfortunate. But the Bears snapped the losing streak, and that's very much important. Now, for the offensive performance, it was still pretty horrible. I mean, I don't know how many passes we threw towards over 5 yards, but I mean, it was a screen game all day long, and I don't get it. Because, yes, I get the argument maybe that we had pressure on Caleb Williams and the offensive line was not holding up well, which is an understatement. I think it's never good if Rashawn Gary rushes free at your face, but apparently that's what the Chicago Bears O-line thought was a good thing to do today. But at the same time, you can expose a blitz while working into the 3 space where they're actually blitzing. So you can expose a blitzing team, right? The only thing the Bears did was basically throw screens against fronts and secondary alignments where we didn't even have the numbers to throw a screen. So to me, it was just strange, the play selection by Thomas Brown, how he decided to get into this game, because there's certain situations where you have obvious man-to-man situations, and the only time I think we effectively used that was on one play where we connected to DJ Moore with Caleb Williams on a slant route. Right, it was simple, motion over, guy follows, you got one-on-ones, slant route, great ran route by DJ Moore, and he bailed out Caleb on a little behind-the-back throw there. I mean, not behind the back, but the ball placement was a little bit behind DJ Moore. That's what I'm trying to say with that. So that was the only time we actually effectively used our scheme to expose the Packers defense. Other than that, it felt like we threw just screens all day long. Now, one positive I have to note a little bit for the offense was the run game, actually. I think DeAndre Swift did a pretty good job today, most of the time, to actually hit the gaps and just be explosive and get a couple of yards extra. Also, the offensive lines, in certain situations, did a pretty good job of moving the Packers' defensive line, especially mid-first half to entire second half. They did a pretty good job. First quarter was a pretty much a struggle for the entire offense. So I love that. But overall, it was not, once again, a great game to watch on offense. And that's why, for me, the case for Thomas Brown shouldn't even be made as the head coach, right? Because the guy just showed again, for how many consecutive weeks now, that he cannot coach an offense and be the head coach, leader of men at the same time. It's too much on his plate, and that's completely fine. But he should not be considered for the head coaching spot. Especially not after this win. Yes, it was a win, but it was an ugly one where he mismanaged the time again. We had only one timeout at the end again, which almost cost us the game again because we couldn't manage it more effectively because of that, right? We had to go for the first down there and then spike the football because we didn't have any timeouts, which could have been prevented with better time management also by the head coach. Because again, there's a lot of people maybe saying, oh, why didn't Caleb take this and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? He's still a rookie quarterback. I know we have high expectations, as we should with Caleb. But at the end of the day, again, he's a rookie quarterback. Let him make mistakes. That's okay. Shouldn't be the case with the head coach or the guys in charge, though, right? So they need to make sure he's in a comfortable situation. Throughout this season, they did not make sure he was in a comfortable situation. But at the end of the day, they got the win. Now, for the defensive side of the ball, I think they, for the most part, did a pretty good job. Love the energy today Kevin Byard had. That big sack fumble that he had against Malik Willis. Beautiful, beautiful play by him. And as I said, had great energy today. Also, the pass rush looked okay. I mean, they struggled for the most part, but there were some glimpses of good play. They didn't really get to Malik Willis or Jordan Love, though. They couldn't finish, but they had a couple of good pressures to force these quarterbacks out the pocket. Really want to note Austin Booker here, who had a couple of good plays, which was great to see, because Austin Booker, great guy. Really like him as an edge rusher moving forward in the rotation. And then the secondary played great for the most part as well. Obviously, unfortunate that Jalen Johnson got hurt, but also the backup Terrell Smith did a phenomenal job on one of his pass breakup plays. And Jalen Johnson himself with a big knockout of the ball to force another fumble. So they were hunting today and getting a couple of turnovers, with definitely set the stage for this win to be even possible at the end there. And then special teams has to be a big plus as well. Obviously, it's the last game of the season, doesn't really matter, but Richard Hightower came up with some cool stuff today, trying the fake kneel. I think, in my opinion, was probably a intentional play by Richard Hightower, or I at least assume so. Obviously, the big touchdown by Josh Blackwell on the fake return of DJ Moore, and then just completely confusing to punt defense from the Packers and just getting a big touchdown there. Without that, we wouldn't have won the game. So special teams put in a clinic today, had a lot of great returns also from Tyler Scott. Was happy to see him get a little bit production at least. Obviously, he's not there on the offense yet, which is unfortunate because he was a really talented player coming out of Cincinnati. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But he had a good return game today, a couple of great punts by Torrey Taylor as well, and Josh Blackwell with the big touchdown, which, as I said, helped us to win this football game. He's such a special team stud and a great backup nickel. So Josh Blackwell, I don't know if he's under contract for 2025, but he should be because he's a really good player. So overall, the Chicago Bears get a little bit lucky in a couple of situations, but biggest thing, Caleb Williams finally got his game-winning drive, which he so badly deserved after so many great finishing drives that he had, and then at the end something went wrong, coaching or not hitting a field goal, being blocked, and or getting beat by a ridiculous Hail Mary, of course. So it is what it is, but Caleb Williams got his big first end-of-game win, which I really wanted to see, coming back against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau. That's the mentality we need, never giving up. Even with 15 seconds, he made it happen with a great completion to DJ Moore, and that was great to see, and just a great way for the Chicago Bears to finish this season. I think all of the fans of the Chicago Bears deserved this. The players deserved it. I don't know if the coaches deserved it, but most people of the Chicago Bears organization, of course, including fans, deserved this win, so that was great to see. So with that being said, just some final thoughts on the Chicago Bears season real quick, okay? I don't want to make this too long because I'm going to go in-depth, especially with Caleb Williams, in that end-of-season review film breakdown that I'm going to do in the next couple of months and preparing that video. So there's going to be a big conclusion for his rookie season, but I think despite all the changes he had to go through, head coach Matt Eberflus being fired, OC Shane Waldron being fired, Thomas Brown going from a solid offensive coordinator spot to a much overwhelmed head coaching position that was not suitable for him at all, I think Caleb Williams really survived well. Also, behind a injury-plagued offensive line with losing Braxton Jones, losing Ryan Bates early on, having the Nate Davis situation, Coleman Shelton just being a terrible center, I think he really struck through a great season and showed adversity and just the willingness to win in Chicago, especially with his last victory against the Green Bay Packers. It makes it even sweeter. And even though there's a lot of people that doubt him and whatever they doubt about the Chicago Bears, I think at the end of the day, we can still be happy that we have Caleb Williams. And I think people often overlook how grateful we should actually be for this guy, because he broke multiple Chicago Bears rookie quarterback records, was on pace to break the yardage record as well if we had a more competent play caller on offense, and all that as a rookie, even though it's just bad records, right? It was not great records or tough records to overcome. He still was, I don't know since how many years, the first guy again to start every single game in the season. Since 10 years, 11 years, I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. But it's been a while since a quarterback actually played all 17 games for the Chicago Bears consecutively. He also made the best out of the situation, got 20 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. He was careful with the football. And even though there's things that he needs to get better at, I think for a rookie season, there's a lot of things that he can take away from this season to get better from and learn from, which is obviously very much valuable, but he also did a lot of things already pretty good. And as I said, I'll go more in depth with that for the Chicago Bears breakdown of Caleb Williams' rookie season. Now, for a couple of players I still want to mention for this season that I thought played pretty well. First of all, Jaquan Brisker. Obviously, I hope he's doing good. He had that big concussion that basically got him out for the rest of the season since week whatever. So he's been out for more than 10 weeks now with a concussion. That's scary. But before that, Jaquan Brisker was playing lights out. Kyler Gordon is a great nickel corner. You're not getting past this guy. I mean, he's just tackling everything that comes his way. He's phenomenal. Kevin Byard played his heart out this season as a veteran presence and really tried to be a leader in a tough environment with the Chicago Bears and that many coaching changes. And then Jalen Johnson should be an all-pro corner this year, made the Pro Bowl as a single Chicago Bears player this year, but he's a great guy too. So our secondary is pretty much set. I'm not too big of a fan of Tyreek Stevenson. I like Terrell Smith, though, pretty much. So I think we should be okay with the secondary. I think TJ Edwards had another pretty good year, even though we lack a true downhill linebacker at this point, which scares me a little bit. And then defensive line was a pretty disappointing year, especially for Montez Sweat. But I think if we get a good edge rusher in free agency and in the draft and get that rotation going just like the Philadelphia Eagles do, I think we should be in a pretty okay spot moving forward, and he should get back on track pretty quickly as well. And then for the offensive side of the ball, there's not too much to say. I think DJ Moore had a pretty disappointing season. He had some glimpses. I think it's just about an offensive coordinator that knows how to use his weapons, because I don't want to get too deep into this as well. There's going to be a big portion of it in the Caleb Williams review as well, but we did not use our offensive weapons in the correct way for the most part of the season. DJ Moore was not used in the best way possible. Same with Keenan Allen. I think this year he spent the least amount of time in the slot as ever in his career, which at his age, considering he is a slot specialist, is probably not the best idea, or was not the best idea by the Chicago Bears. And then Rome Odunze, same thing. I think we misused a couple of our weapons on offense, and we could have gotten a lot more production out of these guys if we used them in certain situations differently, but whatever. Disappointing season from the wide receiver position, but it's not completely on them. But at the same time, they also did pretty bad at times. Running back room is looking okay. I think we can still add another good running back to get a 1-2 punch out of DeAndre Swift. He's a great weapon with the ball in his hands, but he really has to read his gaps better, especially in the run game. He misses open lanes at times, but I really like him in the screen game and as a pass catcher. So he adds value. I think we just need another guy to elevate this offense even more. And then the offensive line. There's a couple of guys I want to shout out. Matt Pryor, I don't think he's a great offensive lineman, but man, that dude played a lot of positions on this offensive line and just fought through the season and made sure that Caleb Williams was somehow protected. Was he at the end? No, but he still fought through, so that was a pretty good effort here by him. And then Tevin Jenkins, for the most of the season, played pretty solid. Braxton Jones, he's not the guy. And Darnell Wright also powered through at the end of the season. I think he's a pretty solid piece to this offensive line and something we can build upon. He's not a big issue. So, yeah, with that being said, a hard season, a rough season for Chicago Bears fans and the team itself is finally over, and it's time to get a new head coach. I'm probably also going to react to the new head coach signing as I'm thinking about it as well. So, yeah, I'm going to make sure I'm going to react to that too. So that might be before the Caleb Williams breakdown video. But yeah, with that being said, that's actually the end of today's episode, guys. It's been a while since I made a YouTube video, so don't fry me in the comments. I've been out of practice a little bit, but I'm getting back to it as soon as possible, guys. But just like I said, that's the end of the episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think of the 24-25 Chicago Bears season. What did you think of Caleb Williams as a rookie? And what did you think of this final victory in Week 18 against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau to break that losing streak? Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Check out Instagram and Twitter if you want to as well. And as always, guys, bear down.